Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is Monday, June 21st of 2021, and it's 10:30 a.m. in the morning. Um, I probably still am a little bit nervous. I've got a appointment with the eye doctor, and I haven't had a glaucoma check in 3, 4, I'm not sure how long, a bunch of years. And when you're diabetic, you're supposed to have that done, once a year or else. And I haven't had it done. I didn't like the last, well, doctor that did it. Um, it's the same organization that a few years ago when I went to see him, he didn't like me for some reason, and I didn't like him, and I didn't like the lady that the payment desk, and just a bad experience. It was totally stupid of me not just to change, doctor and continue to go, but because of him, and which only hurts, which will only hurt me. Anyway, he told me actually I was leaving. I mean, he said, okay, all done. And then I get up out of the chair, and then I'm starting to leave, and he says, you do know you have a cataract in each eye? And I said, no, I don't. And they said, yeah, you have one in each eye, and it's not blocking, it's out of your view or whatever. And uh, anyway, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but when I do freak out, I sort of freak out. I mean, I don't hit somebody, I don't yell and scream, whatever, but if somebody gets close to my eye, I sort of, and I guess I moved a little bit or something, and he said, when he was doing the eye exam, something like, what's wrong with you? Stop that. And seems to me like if you're doing that kind of work, that you would deal with people. I mean, I don't think I'm unique, in that. So I picked a new doctor. She's Indian, from India, and her education and all that kind of stuff looks pretty fantastic. Pretty fantastic. Uh, Became a doctor in India, did her residency or something in eyes or whatever. She goes to UK, does a residency or two there with eyes. Then she, I think, took a little bit of a break, and I think to have a baby or something. And then she comes to the United States, I believe it is, and she goes through a residency or two here, and then they give her her sounds like an from that sounds like an excellent doctor. Until I'm still nervous, but until I finally looked on the site here, their site, and I forget what I looked at. What's involved, and I was afraid. I was thinking that I was going to go in and they were going to dilate my eyes, and then they were if they needed to remove the cataracts, that they were going to do it with me sitting in the chair. And I was thinking, oh, they're going to have me put on a gown or whatever. But I looked, no, I'm sure what's going to happen today is they're going to dilate my eyes, look at my eyes, make some measurements or whatever they do. And then if I do need to have those cataracts removed, or if there's something else that they need to do, then I think they're going to schedule a thing where would come back, because they talk about coming back 2 or 3 hours to remove the cataracts and that type of stuff. So I think today it's just going to be going in and having them dilate the eyes and do that type of stuff. And then if the cataracts do need to be removed now, if they've moved into the or something else, then they'll set up an appointment, I think, for that. And two, it says that they do give you, they don't mention what it is, but it's that medication that they give to people for different types of procedures where they give it to you and you're not out, but you are out. You don't know what they're doing. I'm not sure how to describe it. I tried to describe it to talk. I was telling some people, because I worked at more than one hospital. I worked at a hospital where twice a week they do that thing where they'd have some rooms set aside there, and 6-10 patients would come in, and the nurses would take them in there, or they'd have their ass up in the air, and then the whatever kind of doctor come and do the scope thing or whatever. And the people were not, how would you put this? They're not, well, they're awake, but they don't know what's, and they have no memory of it. I guess if you did have a pain, I guess you wouldn't have the pain, but maybe you would have the pain, but you wouldn't react to it, but then you wouldn't remember that you did have the pain. I mean, it's a fantastic product, I wonder, is that what what's his name? Michael Jackson. I wonder if that's the product that he was, that he had a doctor administering to him every night so he could sleep or whatever. Whatever it is, I guess it's a wonderful product. I'm not sure what they gave me I think that might be actually what they gave me when they, I've had a pacemaker put in and removed, and then another pacemaker put in and removed, and anyway, I really was nervous for the last, week or two, thinking about the appointment, and then I looked here just an hour or so ago, and I can see now that no, if they're going to go in and dilate my eyes and look at them and do that kind of stuff, and then tell me what needs to be done, and if I'm going to have cataracts removed or something, I'm sure going to make an appointment for me to come back, and I'd be there 2 or 3 hours. I'd be in the surgical suite, so if you watched a video, if you watched the video that I made yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, about Roku versus Google, and the fact that on a Roku TV, the YouTube app does not work now, and Google and Roku have been arguing for months, and anyway, I did find this, and so I put the link below in yesterday's video about this, and I don't know if I'm going to put this link below. Well, maybe, I guess since I talked about it, I will. But it's a pretty good explanation of who did this. I guess it's 9 to 5 Google. I'm not sure who. But I guess I'll put this link below also. This explains what's going on, and there's a lot to it. My ex-wife is, she watches television all the time. She has a computer in the living room, but in the dining room, which is her room, she watches television all the time, and she has been using the Google app on the Roku TV and to look things up and that type of stuff. She'd rather do it on the TV than sitting at her desk in the living room in her wheelchair, you know. And so she's really pissed and mad at, I think she's mad at Google. But anyway, this explains the whole thing. And it's interesting because there's a lot to it, and there's problems on both sides. There's problems on Google's side, and there's problems on Roku. But right now she's pissed, and because she can't watch. I mean, we have all kinds of channels for her to watch. Watch on the television set. She's the only one that has a television set, big screen television set, and she's able to watch, all of them, and but right now she's pissed at Google, but I can see that there's blame on both sides. Roku has been standing in the way of a lot of innovation and things. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.